What's up, D-Gens, and welcome to this week's edition of Tad Locks. Well, guess what? The King is back. Last week, we went 8-1-1, which is huge. That's a big win for us. We're back on track. I told you last week when we were recording, we're a little deeper into the league, into the seasons now. We know a little bit more. We have a little bit more an idea of what's going on, and we're loving where we're at. So, we're 8-1-1. We're back above 500 overall. We love our picks this week. Let's get right into it. All right. So, one of the things with locks is we try to kind of spread out our picks. That way, make sure you have something, especially some like early afternoon games, late afternoon and evening games. That way, there's always something for you to get your intrigue, okay? So, when we look at that, that's what we try to look at, pick games in those windows and what we like best during those windows, all right? So, first, we're going to kind of go into our later window. We got, again, we love USC. USC versus Colorado. We play both those teams, or one of those teams, pretty much every week so far because we have a real good idea of what's going on there. We've locked in. We knew Oregon was going to beat the brakes off of Colorado. It happened. But this week, USC plays Colorado. Now, you're probably thinking I'm going to tell you to play the over or play USC in the points. In fact, we're going to do a little bit different, okay? I'm just going to take USC and the team total over 48.5. If there's one thing we've learned so far through the first month or so of the season, it's Colorado's defense sucks. Just bottom line, they're not good, especially without Travis Hunter. They have no good players anywhere, and we saw that when Oregon just again beat the crap out of them. Now they get to go against Caleb Williams, and again, I hate this term because it's used too much for a generational talent quarterback. USC is going to destroy them. In fact, Oregon got to 42 points very early, 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. They got stopped on a fourth down, and they pretty much called the dogs off at that point. I don't think USC is going to be like that. One, because USC doesn't have the defense that Colorado has. So I do think Colorado's going to score some points, and USC is going to have to kind of put the pedal to the metal. I think they're going to have to get to 50 to win this game and win this game comfortably. So I think Colorado or USC over 40.5 is a stone cold lock. All right. Next, staying in the Pac-12, Utah and Oregon State are playing. That over/under is set at 44.5. We're going to take the under. Utah is on their third quarterback. Even though they're undefeated, which is amazing, despite being their third quarterback, they've had to do it kind of some, bubble gum, smoke and mirrors, and with, good defense, running the ball, things like that. And by the way, that's exactly what Oregon State wants to do as well. Oregon State is probably the best offensive line, if not in the country, definitely the Pac-12. They are a ground and pound team, good defense. So when you have two teams that like to run the ball a lot, that means the clock's going to move faster, which means you're not going to score a ton of points. I think this is an under 44.5. I see this as like a 2017, 24-17 type of game. I don't know who wins, but I think no matter what, this game's an under. All right, next we head to one of the 1 o'clock early game windows, or one of the noon windows. Excuse me. And we have Georgia versus Auburn. Okay, anybody who's watched Auburn play this year, you must only be an Auburn fan because they're one of the worst offenses in America. They played 3 different quarterbacks against Texas A&M to try to score something, try to get first down, try to get juice. They went to 3 different dudes. All 3 failed. Lou Freese came from Liberty, where he was an offensive juggernaut. He was in the SEC before that at Ole Miss. He was an offensive juggernaut. It just hasn't worked out in Auburn yet. They will eventually get it, but it's not there yet. Georgia gets better every week. They maybe toy around with lesser teams a little bit too long, especially looking about the South Carolina game where they're losing at halftime. But Georgia's giving 14.5 points. I don't see how Auburn scores at all in this game against the Georgia defense with their offensive struggles. I don't think they get to double digits. If they do, it's like 13 points. And I think Georgia is going to have way more opportunities to score. They'll probably get some turnovers on downs, turnovers in general. I think this being like a 30-10 type game, it's just kind of a beatdown. And Georgia kind of goes in, just kind of checks this game off in their box. All right. We always play the local teams, okay? So we're going to stick with Maryland. Maryland is giving 14 points against Indiana. Indiana is one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. They stink. Maryland is on the ascent. Most people believe they're the 4th best team in the Big Ten. I personally believe that as well. We've talked about this before. Their offense is elite. They have NFL players all throughout. They have explosive plays. They can run. They can pass. They kind of do it all. What Maryland's really excelled at this year, so more so maybe it's gone under the radar, is their defense. So the defense is 2nd in the country in takeaways and 11th in scoring defense, which means they're taking the ball away and they're not giving you points. It's hard for them not to cover when you do that, especially against a bad Indiana team. Maryland's going to have an insane speed advantage on both sides of the ball. It's going to be in Maryland. It's their last tune-up before Ohio State. This is also the second week where they've gone good in practice. We talked about this last week, and it showed a big difference. They got a big start against Michigan State. They did kind of fall. They kind of go through a little bit of a dry spell in the Michigan State game, but I think it's because the game was in hand, and they kind of showed a little bit. I see this at home, Indiana, before Ohio State. The coaches know that this is a big game. They got to stay focused, can't be able to look ahead, and they got to be able to be sharp. I think they blow the doors off of Indiana. I see like a 35-7 type of win. 14 is way too low of a number. Our last game, LSU Ole Miss, okay? I don't have a lot of data to support what I'm about to say. The over-under said at 67, okay? That number's just too high. I don't have a lot of data to say that why that number won't get there. It just feels that this is not going to be a 35, 30, like 42, 35 game. I just don't see these athletic defenses giving in that much. I know the LSU secondary is kind of suspect, but they got two of the best defensive tackles in America. Two guys are going to be draft worthy. I just don't think this number is. This is more of a gut play than anything else. Just when I was looking through the board and I looked at that number, it just felt way off. Again, I don't really have a lot of dates for it, but 67 just way too high. So LSU Ole Miss under 67. Okay, so that wraps up our Saturday plays. Next, we go to the NFL.
Bro, hold on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just took Ben out. I just walked him out. Holy fucking shit on a shingle, dude.
What?
When you walked outside, when you walked in, there wasn't like a spider in my door or nothing. There wasn't a web, a fucking giant ass web.
No.
You guys walked through the front door, right?
Yeah.
In the fucking hour.
Did somebody like the Charlotte Web just go bananas?
No. Fucking fucking 8-legged freaks Charlotte Web sprouted up in the whole top third of the fucking door.
What's done?
I opened it up.
Did you walk into it?
And I saw a fucking monstrosity circle up to the thing. I flipped on all the lights and I was just like, hey, whoa. What the fuck?
Not up in here.
So I had a fucking, hey, with my fucking flop. So I killed it, right?
Yeah.
And I had a fucking Avada Kedavra, the web, get it out.
Yeah.
But saved Ben's life, saved my life, saved your life because, bruh,
Who knows what would happen?
the thing was fucking this big.
Okay, that's a no joker.
But like, why are you here in my life? All right, sorry. Crisis averted. I'm back to reality.
Crisis averted.
Orioles top 5 inning. Top of the 5. Top of the 5th. Top of the 5th inning.
Still 1-0.
Still 1-0. Okay. Sunday plays.
All right, so now let's head into our NFL plays or Sunday plays. Okay. Again, we're staying local. There's going to be 3 plays every week. We're going to play Maryland. We're going to play the Commanders. We're going to play the Ravens. All right, first with the Ravens. They're going to Cleveland.
Tough.
I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but the Cleveland defense is kind of fucking filthy.
Number 1 overall.
By a lot. So here's some stat I want you to kind of munch on for a bit. They're giving up 163 yards per game. Total. That's nuts. Okay? Jim Schwartz is the new DC there. He's doing a spectacular job.
He's nice.
Here's another little nugget for you. So, the Baltimore Ravens 2000 defense, considered the best defense of all time.
2,000 defense.
That's what I said, 2000. What is it?
You said 20,000 or 22,000.
Well, maybe the 22,000 Ravens defense will be the greatest defense of all time.
Well, I hope the human race is still alive.
We'll see. But anyway, the 2000 Ravens defense is considered by many the greatest defense of all time.
Facts.
During that span, okay, 4 times they gave up less than double-digit first downs in a game.
Correct.
Okay, only 9 total first downs. The Browns have done that in each of their first 3 games.
That's wild.
So they're 3 for 3 on giving up less than 9 first downs. There's not a single metric that you look at with the Browns and go, holy shit, that defense is killing it. So, that said, and with the litany of injuries that the Ravens
Denzel
offense
Ward's
has.
playing better than fucking Myles Garrett.
Say again?
Denzel Ward's playing better than Myles Garrett.
Which is nuts. I think Myles Garrett's the 3rd best defensive player in the league behind
Yes.
Watt and Micah.
Yes.
But the fact that Denzel Ward is even in the conversation is bananas. If I give you a corner defensive end, what do? Not much.
The guy is fucking Darrell Revis.
So the Ravens offensive line, a little bit of an issue right now. Skill players, not much better. It's hard for me to imagine the Ravens going into Cleveland and putting up a lot of points, how things are going.
Yeah.
So that being said, on the flip side, the Browns lost Nick Chubb. Now, Ford obviously was very admirable in his step in, but let's not kid ourselves. Ford is not Nick Chubb. I do see him having a little bit more of a forward average game, and I don't see the Browns scoring a lot. In fact, I think the Browns kind of lean on their defense and just try to shorten this game and just kind of play it out. I think the Browns go in this game thinking if we score 24 points, we're going to win this game pretty comfortably. Well, the over-under stood at 40.5. I'm taking the under. Yeah. I don't see the Ravens getting to 20 points. It'd be unless there's like a defensive special teams touchdown. It's hard for me to fathom. So Ravens Browns under 40.5 points.
2013, 21-14 is what I think the score should be.
Which is fine. We'll take that as an under.
Either side.
We'll take that. All right, next again, I told you local plays. We're going to head to Washington and Philadelphia. We're going to head to a player prop in this game. Okay?
Shout out.
All right, shout out. So Sam Howell's passing line is for this game is set at 213 yards. That is criminally low. We're going to go over on this one. One, because I think the Commanders are going to have to throw to keep up the scoring offense. In the history, Terry McLaurin has owned Darius Slay, has dominated, averaging 122 yards per game against Darius Slay covering him. He smacks him. The Eagles' defense is also not that elite, especially against passing game. They give him an average of 261 passing yards per game. So even if the Eagles play great and give up 230, that's still well over the 213 mark that Vegas is giving you. I'm going over on 213 passing yards for Sam Howell. Next, we head to Dallas. Okay, Dallas is playing the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots have a very good defense. Now, Dan, you and I were together on draft night when the Washington Commanders had a chance to draft Christian Gonzalez, quarterback from Oregon, and they drafted Emmanuel Forbes instead. And Emmanuel Forbes has been fine. Yeah, he has a 61 passer rating on passes towards him. You can't complain too much about that. Life is good. But Christian Gonzalez is a fucking stud. Yeah. My man has had to guard some of the best receivers in the league so far and has been great. So while I'm content with Emmanuel Forbes being the Commanders, having Christian Gonzalez be a little bit better. I think Christian Gonzalez.
When you were like, he's my guy.
Oh yeah.
I want him.
I talked about the draft pod and everything.
Emmanuel Forbes, who you still love.
I still love.
You still loved him, but
yes. He was not my guy.
Your third or fourth corner.
Where Gonzalez was my uno.
But like by far.
Oh, yeah.
Like the number 1 and number 2 corner were like kind of neck and neck in terms of draft status,
yes.
And we were all kind of like, oh, do you take Christian Gonzalez? Do you take the kid from fucking Washington, right? What's it from Washington?
Where's the other kid?
I don't remember. But regardless.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on who the other kid was. Anyway.
But we were also like, that kid from Oregon, Christian Gonzalez, is a fucking man.
Pretty damn good. And he's bearing fruit so far for the New England Patriots.
Yeah,
in fact, he's part of the reason why the New England Patriots have the 5th best pass defense in the NFL. Yeah. The New England Patriots, while only having a 1-2 record, have a very good defense. So, and I looked at that Dallas game against Arizona. I looked at the Dallas game against New York. I looked at the Dallas game against the Jets, or against the Giants, both New York's teams. Their offense isn't that great. Dak is still very mad. He still does dumb things like the pick in the end zone against Arizona. Other than CeeDee Lamb, who you're really scared of, don't tell me Brandon Cooks. Man's 1,000 years old. Tony Pollard has been fine. Hasn't had like a spectacular game yet. The Dallas offense is very meh. They got the old head Mike McCarthy calling the plays.
Hate him.
I don't see how Dallas scores more than 24.5 points, which is their team line. I'm going under 24.5. Their offense is mad. The Patriots defense is legit. Give Belichick a week. He'll take away your best player, CeeDee Lamb. Then now what do? You ain't scoring 27 points with Cooks and Pollard and Dak. Dalton Schultz, they probably wish they had him because Ferguson ain't it. No, the Dallas defense or offense is very vulnerable. I don't see this. I don't know if they might lose this game outright because I think the Patriots are kind of sneaky decent, especially with a good defense. But I don't see them. If they do, if Dallas does win, it's because their defense dominates Mac Jones and company and probably scores a touchdown themselves. I don't see Dallas scoring 25 plus points in this game. No way, no how. All right, next. This might be one of the easiest plays of the week. Kansas City is only getting 9.5 points against the Jets. Did we not just watch what the Taylor Swift Chiefs did against the Bears? The New York Jets are in turmoil right now. Their locker room hates the quarterback. Their locker room hates the coach for defending the quarterback. No. There's videos of Jets fans like just going bananas in the stands.
Whoa, dude, they got Trevor Siemian, bro.
Yeah, not good enough.
He sucks.
Not good enough. Last week, Kansas City had kind of their get-right game. They blew the doors of Chicago. The New York Jets defense, while formidable, can't slow down the team now that they kind of are getting the wheels going. This game is going to be in New York. Taylor Swift lives in New York. Half the Swifties will probably buy tickets and cheer for the Chiefs. She's going to be there. This is not going to be a close game. Also, here's a thing that we talked about last week too. Kansas City has like a sneaky good defense. How the fuck is Zach Wilson going to score any points? Any. He's not, is the answer. Kansas City getting 9.5 on Sunday Night Football in New York is laughable. Only giving 9.5. It's ridiculous. So take Kansas City minus 9.5 big time. All right, our last play is the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants. Seattle is getting +1, but we're going to tell you just take the money line because if you're going to get +1, might as well take the money line. But just take you get the extra better odds. It's -105. Go for it. Part of the reason is the Giants stink. The Giants, New York Giants, Daniel Jones, not good at football. Daniel Jones, 15 touchdowns last year, overpaid, overrated, not that good. Saquon Barkley, very questionable if he plays. If he does, he probably won't be as effective. The Seahawks are actually a pretty good team. They have a ton of offensive weapons. Kenneth Walker is balling right now. Yeah. Obviously, you still got DK and Lockett. JSN has yet to go off, but we know he has the ability to do so.
They're doing all this without JSN.
They're doing without JSN.
Once he locks in, then
Then the Seattle's gonna have a good thing moving. Noah Font is even making some plays. No, the Giants' all defense is terrible. Can't stop anyone. Gives up points by the dozens. I would say that the talent on the Seahawks is very comparable to the talent on the 49ers. The 49ers probably a better overall scheme and coaching staff. But the 49ers did whatever they wanted in that game. They crushed them. And the Giants haven't stopped anybody yet. They gave up almost 30 points to Arizona. They gave them a shit ton to Dallas. Their defense stinks. And when it all comes down to it, here's how we break it down. Dan, who's the better quarterback? Who's the better quarterback?
Seahawks.
Who's the better running back?
Right now, Seahawks.
Right now, Seahawks. Who has the better wide receiver core?
Seahawks.
Who has the better secondary?
I'm going to go Seahawks.
Seahawks. Who's the better coach? I'm going Seahawks. Brian Daboll was fine last year, but Pete Carroll's won a Super Bowl. Pete Carroll's won a national championship.
Well,
Pete Carroll as a whole.
Wily vet.
Exactly. Brian Daboll started to lose some charm for me. So
also, the Wink cannot call defense anymore.
No.
He's got some dudes on that roster.
They got some, especially up front, but they're not clicking. Thibodeau, Buster Rooney has like 6 sacks in 20 games so far.
Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you draft? Because they passed on a bunch of. All right, that's a different story.
That's a different story for a different time. But the Giants are struggling. This game is, I think Seattle crushes them. It is in the East Coast, but it's the Monday night game, so I think that's a little bit of a negative factor, especially being the evening. I don't see this being a problem. Seattle crushes the Giants. Take them on the money line. Life is good. All right, let us recap. Okay. All right, first, starting off on Saturday college football. USC team over 40.5. Lock it up. Utah, Oregon State under the 44.5. Lock it up. Georgia minus 14.5 versus Auburn. Lock it up. Maryland minus 14 against Indiana. Lock it up. LSU and Ole Miss under the 67. Lock it up. Ravens and Browns under the team total, group total 40.5. Lock it up. Commanders Sandhouse over 213 passing yards. Lock it up. Dallas Cowboys under their team total 24.5. Lock it up. Kansas City minus 9.5 against the crappy New York Jets. Lock it up. And the Seattle Seahawks on the money line minus 1.5 against the New York Giants. Lock it up. All right, guys. Thanks for listening again. We were 8-1-1 last week. We're back grooving. We're back hunting. And we're off for firing. It's going to be another good week this week. On that note, happy hunting.
It's gambling.